This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. This is a sponsored message. I've been using Anchor as my podcast host for a while now, and it's been a pleasure to use. Anchor offers benefits that most other hosts do not. It's free to use, but it also has a collection of tools that allow you to create a podcast completely within the Anchor website or smartphone app. They distribute your show to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other distribution channels without any additional effort on your part, and you can make money from your podcast without any minimum audience size. So you can use it as a more traditional podcast host like I do, but it's also got everything you need to start a podcast from scratch. If you're keen to give it a shot, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From Axios, the human race at 8 billion. According to the United Nations official projections, there are about 8 billion human beings on the planet as of today. That's an astounding number when you consider that there were only 7 billion 12 years ago, and we only had 6 billion in 1998. The next billion is expected to take longer to accrue, as population growth is slowing or has stopped in most countries, because as populations grow wealthier, better educated, and healthier, birth rates almost always drop. So while it's currently projected that we'll hit 9 billion around 15 years from now, if more people are pulled out of poverty during that time, it could be that it takes a lot longer than that. From the Washington Post, in largest strike of 2022, California academic workers walk off job. About 48,000 teaching assistants, postdocs, researchers, and other folks working in the California public university system went on strike yesterday in response to the system's approach to bargaining with their union. The workers' union claims that university leadership has obstructed the bargaining process and illegally made changes to pay and transit benefits without consulting them first. Union workers are aiming to secure a minimum annual salary of $54,000 and increased childcare benefits. And for context, the average salary in California is $76,418. This is a huge strike in terms of the number of striking workers, but it's far from the only one happening at the moment, with many employees across many industries globally having recently decided to walk out on jobs that aren't paying enough for them to keep up with inflation, and jobs that are making demands on their lives that are, in their eyes at least, unsustainable. And from the New York Times, stymied by protests, Iran unleashes its wrath on its youth. Protests that have been ongoing across Iran since mid-September, when a young woman died while in the custody of the country's morality police, have been sustained in large part by teenagers, and the government has started to crack down on this demographic, hunting down participants well after the events and detaining, beating, and in some cases shooting them in an attempt to stifle anti-government fervor. The average age of protesters at these events is 15, and this shift toward targeting young people seems to be meant to stifle ongoing opposition to the government by cracking down on those the government considers to be deviants, putting them on trial and hitting them with a criminal record that will follow them forever. Amnesty International has confirmed the deaths of 33 minors at the hands of government forces so far, but the real number is thought to be closer to 50. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.